Hello, everyone. As you said, my name is Michael. I'm the CEO of a company named Bintel, and I'm here to talk to you about how we are revolutionizing the waste management industry, or how we're making it more Bintelligent. Oh, I forgot this one. Short about us, Swedish company, IoT and waste. We want to be the smartest digital innovator within our industry, and we want to be that because we want to make it easier to save the world. We're a young company. We've been around since 2017, but we are disrupting the waste management industry, and we do that by offering on-demand or just-in-time collection of waste. Let me start by explaining or give you a history on how you collect waste traditionally. The schedule for collecting waste is based on those people who produce the most waste, those whose bins are full the fastest. Why do you ask? Well, it's because you don't want overfull bins. You don't want littering. So they set the schedule to match their consumption and their production, but they set the schedule for every one of us. And if you combine that with the notion that you should empty every bin in the same area at the same day, you have a very inefficient system. And that's what we want to change, because when you empty all those bins, only a fraction of them will be full. And why would you want to empty a bin that's not full? We are working with... We're working with two different kinds of sensors. We have a level sensor that actually measures the level of the waste within the bin using laser. And when that waste reaches a certain predetermined value, it sends a pickup call through a LoRa network. We also have a sensor that we call the slider that we mount on private citizen bins. And that makes it possible for them to themselves decide when they want their waste to be collected. They just switch the slider, and a pickup call is sent through a LoRa WAN network, and the pickup truck will pick up the waste. And by doing that, the bins send a signal through the LoRa WAN network to our customer platform, where we structure the data and send the signal to the truck to collect the waste. By doing that, we are moving away from the notion, the schedule that's based on the highest production, into a system and a schedule that's based on actual needs. So we give the decision either to the private citizen or to the fully automated system. And the result is that they don't have to go to every bin and empty every bin. They only go to those bins that say, "I'm full, please empty me." And we have about 15 installations throughout Sweden. We have about 5,600 sensors online, and we're finding some great benefits. Let's have some water. By giving the decision to the private citizen, we actually can decrease the number of collections by up to 40%. They also get a much better understanding of their own waste production and can try to decrease it, and we can try to nudge them into decreasing it even more. We also see that our customer satisfaction increases. It's actually through the roof, just by letting them decide for themselves when they want their waste to be picked up. They don't have to keep track on a certain date or every other Thursday. They decide themselves. We have some interesting findings regarding the truck parks. We see that with this system, each truck will have to go further, but they will go much smoother, with fewer starts, fewer stops, and fewer emptying with the lifting arm. So the wear of the truck park will decrease. And when we scale it even further, we think we can lose a truck or two, and that's a huge saving for the city. Also, we find that the employees and their satisfaction is increasing. Digitalization of their work and the variation that brings actually makes them more happy. And when we look at the level sensor, we see that when that's up and running, we can empty and we can collect waste just in time. We don't empty containers or bins that's half full. We do not risk overfull bins and littering. We can be just in time. And just by putting a sensor on a bin gives you control. You get data. You can analyze the data. You can plan your routes better. You can plan your infrastructure better. You can plan how big are your bins, and you can plan how many bins you're using. So there are many, many positive gains. But as in all, no gains without pains, right? We have had some huge challenges. I tried to make the top 3 ones here. We have a big challenge regarding LoRa coverage. Most of our sensors are installed in a city called Helsingborg in Sweden. It's very hilly, so we are having issues with the coverage. The city has put up more gateways, but we're still struggling in some areas. Also, the coverage also affects which activation method we can use. Installation. We were a bit naive. We thought that we could mount 5,000 sensors in 2 weeks. It took us 2 months. We had to staff up. We couldn't find the bins, different size of bins. We did this in October and November. It was cold, raining, snowing. I mean, yeah, it was naive. Also, the connecting the devices to different network, everything we did took a lot more time than we thought. But the main lesson learned is information, because since we are changing a behavior, we're changing a status quo, we've learned that the information is key. The timing of the information, the quality of the information, and the quantity of information. You can make it easier or harder on yourself by working with that. And moving on, if you can do 5,000, we can do 100,000. So that's our goal. We want to move outside Sweden. We have our first installation in Denmark outside Sweden this February. And we want to move on throughout Europe. We want to have 100+ installations. We have already customers in a wide range. It's not just cities. Every stakeholder that has some kind of waste management system can use our sensors. But the end goal for us, or the holy grail, and where we want to end up is here. We want to connect as many bins and containers as possible so we can build the smartest waste brain in the world. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Michael. I was wondering, you already have a lot of information with all the collection of your waste. Will it also help your technology to further be able to cleverly separate waste? Because that is a big problem for a lot of waste processing companies.
Yeah. Yes, it won't help us, but it will help our customers to do that, to get the data so that they know the levels of the different materials and they can plan it in a whole other way.
Okay.
So that's one big gain for the company that owns the chain, so to say. Yes,
and for sustainability perspectives
as
well,
of course. Of course.
Any other questions from the audience? Yeah, and maybe I can have the microphone.
I just like to say that I'm no engineer. So if you have any hard tech questions, I have my project manager right there, and he's ready to answer them.
Okay.
Hi, my name is...
I think it's switched on right now, yes.
Yeah, hi. My name is Sean Mitra. And my question is, a lot of times when you effect a change like this, you have drivers with predefined routing and things like that, right?
Yes. Yep.
Now, all of a sudden, if there's a bin A here and bin M there, how do you effect a change like that? Because the cities have defined drivers, defined routes.
Yes, yeah, good question. And it's you take it step by step. The way we did it, we started with 500, a very small area. We started doing on demand there, only one truck, one driver. And then we scaled up to 5,000. And now we have more trucks, more drivers. And the next step is to include the whole city. But one lesson learned is that you can start collecting by on demand, but don't change the routes. So keep the same routes, let them go, but just stop by the bins who are sending a pickup call. That's the best way to start it. Because the biggest challenge is changing the behavior, changing the people, and changing the system and everything. So take it step by step and keep as much as possible for each step. Make sense?
Yes.
Any more questions? Yeah.
You mentioned that you use two types of sensor. Do you manufacture the sensors in your company, or you buy them from?
We buy. We have a factory or a client or a supplier in Poland, manufacturer.
The level sensor works with which technology? The level sensor for the pin.
A laser.
A laser. And the second question, if the sensor is dirty, you have problems. How many times the workers have to clean it?
Should you answer that, or should I? Well, it depends. It is an issue. It can be an issue. What we say is that when we do a new installment, you can count on 2 to 4 weeks where we try out and when we have to maybe change it or fix it and stuff like that. We override it, so to speak, with AI. We're collecting data, and when we see patterns that are not right, we can tell them to not take it, not show it. If you go from correct data the day before to total whack the day before, you can ignore it and move on, so to speak. But yeah, it can be an issue.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Hi, thanks for your presentation.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to convince my city to also install LoRa gateways all over the place.
We can help you.
Yeah, that'd be great. And the question is always, okay, what's the return of investment? Like the sensors are not cheap.
Nope.
So how do you make up that calculation? The city says, yeah, it makes sense.
For the sensor that measures the level, the return of investment is easy. It's that fast. If we cut one collection, you're home. For the sensors that we mount on the private bins, we work towards cities. So they're expecting a return on investment of 8 years. So that's the horizon we're working at. And therefore, we sell them as a service. So we have a start fee and then a monthly fee in order to deliver on it. The challenge is that it's very price-based, low margin in collecting waste throughout. So yeah, the sensors are fairly cheap, and then we work with a very long timeline.
Okay. Yeah. And is theft somehow a topic?
Not yet.
Not yet.
And for the actual households, will people pay less for their waste processing?
Yeah, that's the aim. They haven't reduced it yet, but the aim is to match the fee to your production, the number of collections you get. We know of trials in Norway where you have 20 collections free, and if you go over that, they have a new fee for you. But we want to do it the other way around. The problem is, it's not a problem, but they are afraid of people that are using it the wrong way, so to speak, if it's private, that you're dumping your trash in another one's bin or stuff like that. So that's holding it back somewhat.
Yeah. It's actually interesting because in Holland, I think in a lot of countries, you pay for either a one-person household or a two-person household and so forth. But then they assume that you all produce the same amount of trash, whereas you can measure how much per household you. Anyway,
I mean, I live in the same city as my mother. I have 3 children. She's alone. We have a way different waste production, but we have the same fee. Yeah. So it's not fair.
No.
It should be.
But you will change that.
Yes, we will.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.